boy, stop being lazy. Yeah, and I became creative. And I learned how to create it. And now that pride's for me. So come see. Oh, come eat.
Welcome back to the Silver Lining Podcast. I am your host, Sterlington. This is my co-host, Cameron. And it is time. Finally, all year we've been waiting for it. It is back. The start of the NFL season. The Falcons playing the Bucs. In fact, actually, as we speak, as we're recording, the Cowboys and Eagles game is on a rain delay. It was like a sign from God for us to record right now, so we had to go ahead and follow His will. How you doing today, Cam?
I'm doing fantastic, my boy. Football is back.
It's
Football
about
is
bloody
back. The
time.
boys are back in town.
The boys are back in town. Yeah,
I
man.
am.
This look, man, and look. Let's be real now. This is still the fun part of the season where all this hope still in front of you, so you're super excited. This is literally the best part of the season unless you win the Super Bowl.
I am chock full of hopium right now. I got a direct line right here full of hopium.
Because you know how this team could be. This season could be like opening up a Christmas present or like looking at the season as like a 17-year bid. You're like, okay, all right, let me go ahead and get not 17 years, 17-week bid. You like, oh boy, let me go ahead and get my
Do
prison
my
sentence over
time.
with. I'm in jail on Sundays. It's like the opposite of work release. Instead of getting out on weekends, you go in on weekends. No, they got that. That's the thing, right? You go to prison on weekends in certain programs. I'm sure that's the thing. But yeah, hopefully the Falcons don't make us feel like we in prison this year, especially us, because now that we making a podcast about it, gotta watch the games. So don't screw it up for us, Atlanta. But let's go ahead and get into it. So before we actually start talking about the Falcons, um as you well know, if you were watching the Cowboys Eagles game, Jalen Carter, before the ball is snapped, spits on Dak Prescott. That's clearly not Falcons news, except for the fact that I know somebody out there when we picked Bijan and it became between Jalen and Bijan, and we know why Jalen didn't get picked. I know y'all got to be licking your chops right now. Somebody out there foaming at the mouth. They got to be foaming at the mouth, Cam. Them boys got to be like, I told you Jalen Carter was a bad influence. And I ain't gonna even lie. Evidence ain't looking too good for the kid.
Hey man, the way I see it, he fits in the Philly perfectly. He is perfect for that city, and he did it in plain sight, right in front of the ref,
Ah,
like right in front of him, like
do your
didn't
dirt
even
and clean up
care.
at the same time, man. What
Like
are you
he
doing?
beelined it right for them, right for their huddle, was talking mess, and took a hot loogie right in the Dak's chest. I was flabbergasted. I was shook. I was, are you serious?
What they raise you at? Like they don't even know you need to be sneaky.
Hey man, it's game one.
Oh man,
It's banner night. Tempers flaring. It's rivalry week as well.
yeah.
Cowboys, Philly. Hey, I get it, but hey, you ain't never gotta go that far.
Look here, man. All I'm gonna say is I know if you were happy about Bijan because of the character concerns, well, you were definitely vindicated tonight. Because what the hell? You know what I'm saying? That was crazy. And now like Dallas, running all up and down your defense, and a lot of it's your fault. If the Eagles lose this game when they bad tonight, yeah, well, they blaming you, Jalen. It's your fault.
Hmm.
Um, Now, instead of talking about prospective Falcons, let's talk about the current Falcons. So, the Falcons are going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hopefully, we're terrible hosts. You know what I'm saying? We just bring them in and beat up on them for 3 hours, but that's hopeful and wishful thinking, right? So, before we get into keys of the game and score predictions, anything, um, win, lose, or draw. What you looking for to see come out of this game, Cam?
I'm looking to see Michael Penix show signs of a franchise quarterback. I'm looking to see our defense show signs of life, primarily in the young guys. I'm looking to see our defense be able to stop the run. I'm looking to see pretty good coverage from our secondary. I'm looking to see our teams really
Hold on, real
embrace.
quick. Can you turn your mic up a little higher? Is it possible?
I think so. You can hear me now? Is it better?
Oh man, that is fantastic.
Okay, cool,
Sound like a
cool.
distinguished gentleman now.
All right, good, good, good. But yeah, man, I'm like I said, looking to see Michael Penix look like a franchise QB. I'm not saying he's got to look like a god. I'm not saying he's got to look like Mahomes or Brady, but I want to see signs of I want to see signs of he is he the guy? Is he our guy? Are we out of QB purgatory? That's what I'm really looking forward to see. That's primary number one. Um, as of this last month, I'd say a something else I'm looking forward to seeing is how does our run game look, especially with Elijah Wilkerson at right tackle? How does our pass game look with him protecting Michael Penix's blind side? There are a couple question marks that I have, and that's the beauty about week one. They will be answered. So I guess that's it in a nutshell. How about you, man? What you looking forward to?
Right, you hit the number one thing right on the head, man. Are we finally done? Now done with quarterback purgatory. So I've talked about being a Falcons fan, how the 17-week season is a sentence. I misspoke and said 17-year. Now we have done a good solid 4-year sentence as a quarterbackless team.
Oh, we've done our bid. We've done our
Like,
time.
it was unfortunate with Kirk because I think, now that I think Kirk is healthy and he probably can play and he probably can be the Kirk we thought we were getting last year. But they decided to turn it over and we got Michael Penix in. And yo, we gotta know, is this the guy? Because obviously when you're a Falcon fan, you got a chance to, I don't even know if we really get embarrassed anymore. We done been through some things.
28-3 is peak embarrassment.
Yeah, it don't really get worse than that. And so, all right, using our first round pick on a quarterback and paying the quarterback in offseason, a lot of people hate that move. I'm like, hey, you ain't gonna convince me that securing the most important position on the field is a bad decision. You can't convince me that it's bad. Now, is it unconventional? Is it better ways to go about it? Sure. You can't convince me that it's outright bad, right? Especially when you were in QB purgatory. But you just want to be vindicated. You want to see that they were right. You want to see that Michael Penix Jr. is going to be that guy who gives you a face of the franchise. We kind of been a little spoiled in Atlanta, obviously. Except for 2007. We knew who was basically going to be the quarterback for the Falcons for more or less 20 straight years. You had the Vic years. You knew Vic was your quarterback every year. He missed the year because most of the year because he got hurt. And he'd miss some games here and there because of injury, and he didn't start his rookie year. But you pretty much knew, all right, Vic's the future at the quarterback. And then after the whatever, Matt Ryan came in. He's the future quarterback, and now the future of quarterback at Atlanta Falcons. And now we in a place we hadn't been in a while, and it's like, is Michael Penix Jr. going to be the guy that gets us out of that? So that's one of them things that I'm super excited to see. The other thing I want to see too, though, man, I want to see what Zach Robinson going to do. And this is like one of the perfect situations for him to prove it to me. So obviously last year, we faced off against T.J. Watt, and Zach Robinson saw fit to lead T.J. Watt one-on-one with Caleb McGarry in obvious passing situations and make those passing situations even more obvious. And it did not work well. It blew up in his face and it blew up in our face real bad. And now you got your third string offensive tackle who hasn't played tackle in quite some time. And you ain't got TJ Watt over there, but you ain't got no bozos over there. The other team, they got Hassan Reddick, they got Yaya Diaby, they got guys that's gonna test that guy, that third string offensive tackle. I want to see how Zach going game plan around that. I want to know how Zach gonna keep Tampa Bay on their toes. Is he gonna use screens? Is he gonna use play action? Is he gonna mix up the protection and make sure not to leave Elijah Wilkinson one on one? You know what I'm saying? Just send the back to his side, send the tight end to his side, let the tight end chip on the way out. Just a bunch of things to make sure that you calling an effective offense while protecting your offensive lineman, that your third string offensive lineman. That's something else I want to see. I ain't gonna lie. I think we all know that when it comes to defense, the main thing we want to see after 20 years is a pass rush. Hey, look, maybe the Bucs run the ball kind of good. Maybe Bucs get 150 yards rushing. But if you show me that, these Falcons gonna get like 5 sacks and they're gonna get a bunch of pressure, like, and more importantly than the 5 sacks and the pressure is pressure when it matters. I don't want to see you getting 5 sacks in the first 3 quarters, and then when the game on the line, the fourth quarter, we ain't getting no pressure, we ain't getting no sacks. I want to see this team able to stand up in coverage at least enough to let that pressure get there. Right? If we can show mean pressure in meaningful situations, you know what I'm saying, in first downs. I think apparently the most impactful sack you can have is a second down sack. You get a sack on second down, and it's third and long, and they usually don't convert. But yeah, let me see some second down and first and second down sacks that put them in bad situations on third. Let me see some fourth quarter sacks. Let me see that the ability to affect the game when the game is going to be tightest. Because you better believe if Atlanta wins this game this week, it's going to be a tight one. Psst. Hey, Cam, you seeing this shit?
Oh yeah, I think I am. What is that?
That's a person watching this podcast that hasn't subscribed. Subscribe. The button's down below. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And I think those are mainly the main things I want to see coming into this game. All right. Now that's like the Christmas side of it all. We don't know what's gonna happen, but like, if you're talking about things that need to happen for the Falcons to win this game, how you see it playing out? And instead of the hopeful stuff we want to see, how you think it's gonna have to play out, or what's gonna be those key things that can get us a W?
Truth be told, I think this game will be a shootout. Um, I like our team, man. We're young, we're hungry, we're youngry, if you will. So yeah, man. I'm optimistic. I think we got veterans in the right places. I'm concerned about our interior pass rush. I'm concerned about our interior rush in general. But hey, we got the young guys and they gonna have to prove it, man. We got Brandon Dorless, we got Rook. We got guys, man. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. You made a very good point. Zach Robinson has yet to prove himself, and he has to this season. He has to. Because Jimmy Lake was the scapegoat last year with how bad our defense played.
Yeah.
This year, there can be no excuses because we have a prolific offense. Granted, we have a quarterback and it kind of hinges on him and his gameplay. But based off what I've seen, I think at the worst he'll be like a middle tier quarterback. We'll see. The jury's still out, but I'm hedging my bets on him. I believe in Mike. I believe in the guy. Hey, but that being said, we really need to see what we're gonna get from Zach. But yeah, going back to your point, the keys to winning the game. He played a big role in our last 2 games against Tampa. I think Kyle Pitts might be due for a big one. I think we're gonna get him the ball. We're gonna get Drake the ball, of course. Darnell, provided he's good to go. He did have a limited participation at practice this week. I think he was limited both days, Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, I'm optimistic he plays. But even if he doesn't, I've heard great things about Casey Washington. I've heard he has had a great camp. I've also heard what's his name? It's escaping me. The guy who scored the overtime touchdown against the Bucs.
Cordero.
Cardell Hodge. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name right then.
Yo, it happens.
Cordell Cordell Hodge is a solid receiver. He has shown that he can step up in big time moments. So I'm feeling confident about our receiving room. I didn't even mention Ray Ray, and I think he's going to have a good season as well. We can spread the ball around. We have options on offense. Now it's all about, can we scheme guys open? Can we make things work? So yeah, the our team is going to march to the beat of our offense. It just is. We're going to have to score points. Our defense is going to be more bend don't break. We got a lot of young guys, so there are going to be mistakes made. So we're going to have to lean on our offense. Maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe try to we if our offense can't get it right, maybe lean on them. But hey, we got a gauntlet to start this season. It's a gauntlet, so we're gonna have to get it correct very early, and hopefully, even though we didn't play starters week one, hopefully our starters come out prepared and we can hit the ground running. How you feel, man? What's your big takeaways for this game?
Shit, man. You talk about keys to the game and the key matchups. So a lot of it's going to be dependent on the injury. So I forgot to run over the injury report. So this is going to be a game that, as far as we know, now we're recording on Thursday, the 4th. So we'll get some final answers a little later, but I think it's safe to say that for the Bucks, Chris Godwin's going to be out. Um, Tristan Wirfs gonna be out. Kate Naughton looks like he's gonna play. And we're gonna see about Vita Vea. Vita Vea's missed a couple games. Excuse me, missed a couple practices this week. And for us, obviously, we know Caleb McGarry's out. That's to be expected. But DeMarco Hellams has missed a couple practices with a hamstring. I think DeMarco might miss the game. Um, and what Jack Nelson didn't practice this week, but I mean he didn't play. And Ray River Cloud, and Mooney are both limited participants. So it's like a lot of how this game plays out in my eyes is going to be dependent on who does and doesn't play. And so when you talk about key matchups, obviously, it's our O line versus their D line. The Bucs have historically had a pretty good, at least in recent history, have had a pretty good run defense. With the Falcons, the one thing our O line has been good at, typically is running the ball, but we missing one of our biggest, best run blockers on the O line. But if Vita Vea is missing, they're missing their best run defender, and so that would be a huge boon, for Ryan Newsom not having to go against Vita Vea. Um, as his first game to start, because that's another key matchup. Ryan Newsel versus the interior pass rush of the Buccaneers. And look, the NFL 100 just concluded. So they released a video showing everybody best plays. I'm not gonna lie, man, that boy Vita Vea best play where he was ragdolling the lineman around for the Giants and he was sacking the court. I'm like, Jesus Christ. What if that's Ryan Newsel? I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him crashing in the Penix like that up the middle. So if we missing that, man, that could change a lot about how this game looks, because I would love to see us with a young quarterback and be able to firmly establish the run, especially against a team like the Bucs, where Todd Bowles, he gonna see that young quarterback, he got to test him. He got to send pressure. That's just in his DNA. That's what he's gonna want to do, right? And he might even send some zone blitzes. If he sends zone blitzes, I don't think that's gonna work out for him. But we're gonna need to see that. Another thing that's a matchup too is I want to see how Penix gonna handle throwing across the middle, man. Penix is a guy who he naturally. So I've always said he has a naturally aggressive disposition, but he also has that disposition of like throwing away from danger. I think that sometimes that leads to some of his inaccuracies. Like a guy's open, but he kind of sometimes they just get away from him, but sometimes he's trying to throw away from danger. That's typically why he doesn't throw as much over the middle, and that's also why he doesn't have a lot of picks historically throughout his career, just because the balls are always away from a defender. But the Bucks got a couple of good safeties in town. They bring in a all pro caliber safety and Antoine Winfield Jr. And then they bring in a former Georgia alum Tyke Smith in the middle. And I know that they're gonna be looking to try to jump some routes and jump on Penix. And there's gonna be one of them games where Penix gonna have to show him what that arm do.
No, I feel you. I
Penix
feel
gonna
you.
have to show him how hard he pump it.
Ha ha!
Yeah, sling the ball, Penix. But those are the things I'm looking to see for us on offense and then on defense. I just want to see if we can reasonably control yardage situations. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm concerned about our ability to stop the run, but I don't think we're going to be a full pushover. I don't think teams just going to always be able to turn around. I think some plays teams going to be able to get large chunks of yards, and on some plays because we have a penetrate style of defense, we're going to get a TFL. I want to see if we can reasonably get that offense of the Bucs behind schedule more often than not, even if we do give up the occasional big play or the big run in the pass game. You know, what I mean, in the on the ground game, right? And obviously, I'd like to say stop Mike Evans or slow down Mike Evans, but I don't really have no hope of that. I mean, we did a reasonable job last year. I, I'll take what I can get at that point. Mike Evans do Mike Evans thing. Don't fucking had to catch myself. Don't let Cade Otton go off. Like I'm so tired of these Falcons letting any old. And to be fair, I was gonna call him any old bozo tight end, but Cade Otton's pretty decent. But we always got to be the get right game for a team tight end. All right, Jesse, Xavier, stop that. Don't let him do it. All right. Who's starting the slot? Billy Bowman. Go
I
on,
believe so.
put the cuffs on that tight end spot. All right. And let's see if we can get Baker on the ground. I always like pass rush, but I always get a little nervous because like you get pressure and then you get a quarterback that escape it. Let's have a controlled rush where everybody hit their lanes and then we able to get Baker on the ground. All right. So yeah, when we went over the injury report, it really wasn't much extra to talk about. But this week, I did notice that they had a couple of interesting things about the depth chart. Excuse me. So obviously we know Elijah Wilkins is going to be starting for us. But they seem like they had Dorless over Rook. Now that could just be nothing, right? But they in the same draft. They are in the same position. If it's a rotation, it just seems like it should be Rook starting. And so I guess that begs the question: is Dorless better or does Rook suck? What you think is going on there?
Right now, after what we've seen so far, it's Dorless's job to lose, man. Maybe he just fits the scheme better. Hey, well, I know it's going to be a rotational. It's going to be very rotational on the defensive side. So maybe week one, Dorless is playing. Maybe week two, Rook shows he deserves to be the starter. It's week one. I'm not reading that much into it. Now, as the weeks progress and we see his gameplay and we see his game time, if it's not up to par, then yeah, then there's evidence to support that case.
I think I'm pretty much with you on that, brother. I think I mean I saw it, I saw somebody point it out, and I think it was okay with the dressing, right? Because like I said, there's some intrigue there. You know what I'm saying? Why is the fourth rounder starting over the second round, especially when shit Dorless could not get on the field last year?
Exactly.
Dorless could not get on the field last year. Even Rook was able to play some before he got hurt, but Dorless couldn't even get on the field even after Rook got hurt. And then it was like, oh, okay, we see Dorless, starting over Rook. But to be fair though, when you talk about and this is one of them times where you kind of got to familiarize yourself with the players, right? Because Usually that time where you're looking at them, watching their film and scouting them, that shit didn't come up really in that first year or so. It's like later on down the line after the team changed schemes and XYZ, XYZ, then you like, oh, okay, now that scouting report you had against about that person worked out. And I don't know exactly what front we'll be in. We saw multiple fronts in the preseason, so we'll see what they do. But one of the things Doralus was kind of touted for was that he was kind of a penetrator. You know what I'm saying? People saw him. They saw him as a defensive tackle, but more as a defensive tackle that is a little more perimeter oriented. Maybe he'll be like a four tech or a three tech or a five tech even, which is kind of a defensive end. But the fact that you know how being a defensive tackle is. There's levels to this. Sometimes you got your meatball in the middle, and and then you got somebody who like you got your defensive tackles that can play defensive end a little, it's a range. And Dorless is more of that defensive tackle that plays a little bit more on the perimeter size. And even in college, he had some get off. He had some quickness on the interior. I think he had like he either had 4.5 or 5 sacks his last year at Oregon. So I mean, there's something there. And we all knew that Rook was a little raw when he was drafted. He got drafted over some guys that people thought maybe should have been drafted over Rook. But Dorless, he had some negatives there that people were just like, all right, he's a later draft pick. But as far as his upside and pass rushing and penetrating ability, he does very well in those areas. And I think this is probably a scheme that, with us changing from the scheme that Jimmy Lake had, this is a scheme that might highlight things that Doralus does well. So they're going to probably let Doralus get the first crack at it, or at least be first on the depth chart. And then, like you said, they'll just play it by ear, see how things go. And, if Rook starts to play better throughout the year, I'm sure he'll be the one who they start first in some of these games. But right now, probably not much, close to a nothing burger, but something to keep an eye on because I mean, hopefully the reason Doris is starting is because he's just that damn good. And it's like, nah, we can't deny him starters reps as opposed to, Rook being behind development. Because Rook is raw. We already knew that. So, it might take some time for Rook to develop, but we'll worry about that when we worry about it. All right. But back to the game at hand. So, talked about our key matchups, talked about, our keys to the game. Let's talk about how we get into this W. All right. Now, for the Falcons to win this game, how you see it playing out, brother?
For us to win this game, I kind of feel like we kind of talked about that a little bit, but in general, we're gonna have to get after Baker, get his timing off, get some pressure on him, stop the run. At least, well, if we can't stop the run, at least limit the run as much as possible. Keep them out of short yardage situations. Keep them out of second and short. Keep them out of third and short. If we can get them in third and manageable or third and longs, then yeah, I feel like we have a good chance. And we can't if we get a lead, we cannot let them back into the game. And that's just kind of on the defensive side. On the offensive side, we gotta let it rip, man. We gotta eat. We gotta get Bijan the ball. Feed him the ball. Establish the run. Let them know that they cannot stop Bijan and Tyler, no matter what. Really try to get that going. Uh, and then from there, just I'd say spread the ball around, limit turnovers. Make sure we don't fumble, make sure we don't have any costly penalties. I know we're a young team, so I am a little bit worried about that. I am worried
Hmm.
about our maturity level, but I'm thinking we have enough veterans to be able to mitigate that. Um, and lastly, man, just I guess it really is on MPJ, man. He's got to play well. He's got to show me something. But I believe he will. Even if it's week one, I know we have a gauntlet to start the season. Like our first 6 games are going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if he shows me something within these first 6 games, like I'm not gonna go crazy after this one. Now if he just plays like dog, like trash, then yeah, but I don't anticipate him playing like that. So I mean, we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. It's week one. It's going to be a roller coaster. Hopefully, we're not suffering week to week. I'm thinking it's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be a fun season.
All right, brother. Well, look, I'm hoping you're right, man, for real. Because when you talk about this game, and I think about how I got to play off of the Falcons to win, um, obviously it started with the old cliche about turnovers. We got a young quarterback. We got a team that's coming in that's a little more injured even than we are, and we got to make sure. But they are more proven than us as well. And they're going to try to be a team that comes in, and I think they're going to look to just move the ball. I think they might think that we have an explosive offense, and they're going to want to try to keep the ball away from us. I think they think we might not be able to stop the run. So I think the biggest thing for us, as far as trying to, you know, figure out how we're going to win this game, is to try to get out in front early. Um, and keep the Bucs from pounding the ball on the ground if possible, which won't be is easier said than done to start the game. But they are short some options. Now they do have some depth. They have Mecca Egbuka replacing Chris Godwin. I know Jalen McMillan's out too. So, but with Cade Otton playing, I feel like if you got two receivers and a tight end or three receivers, either way, um, that's plenty of offensive firepower, especially if you can run the ball and you got a good running back, and they have two good running backs in Rashad White and Bucky Irving. So the biggest thing is just I think I don't think we can contain everything, but I think if we can contain the contain the run game in the sense that maybe they get some big runs here and there, but we control the situations, right? Put them in situations where we can get our pass rush after them. Maybe we can limit some of the damage on defense, and then on offense, I think the biggest things we gotta be creative to quell the rush. That's why I was so big on jumping on Zach Robinson. I want to see him um, just call a game plan that stops Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick from going off. I think we stop their rush and we can run the ball a little bit. And then I think, and really, I think it's just about making sure Michael Penix gets into a rhythm and gets comfortable. And then he got to call stuff that Penix is good at throwing. Penix still got some work. We heard about camp. I expect him to miss some throws this game. That's why I was, saying, wait, we can't have turnovers. If you miss throws, you can't miss throws and have turnovers. So I think in this game, um, that's pretty much what it's going to come down to. It's just going to come down to the Falcons not turning the ball over, finding a way to run the ball. You mix in some explosive plays, and hopefully on defense, we don't just let them get a whole bunch of yards consistently throughout the game. Maybe they get some big carries. Maybe they get some. Well, excuse me, they get some big carries, and then they also lose some yards on some key runs that stops them from just being able to stay on schedule against us. But I think that's what it's going to take for the Falcons to win the game. So I think it's about time for us to do the score predictions. So Cam, what say you? How do the Falcons score this game?
My favorite part of the show: score predictions. I am a betting man, and it's week one, and I'd feel less of a fan if I bet against my boys. It's week one, man. I got this hopium in my system. I got a direct line feeding me hopium. Uh, I'm thinking points will be scored. I'm thinking 35-28 Falcons.
All right, all right. Now, I've been coming at a little crossroads in my life where I notice um, good things happen as long as I think absolutely positively negatively. I mean, really, I gotta believe some bad shit's happening that it's not gonna work out. It's gonna blow up in my face. It's gonna suck, and then it'll work out. It'll be like, all right, cool. Now for a more analytical perspective, I think it's a division game. It's week one. Let's be real. It's gonna be a close one. It just is. You know what I'm saying? Both games against the Bucs. Well, the Falcons kind of controlled the second game pretty well, but the Bucs made it close at the end. But the first game, the Bucs, and the Falcons, it was a barn burner. The year before that, it's been close in both games. The year before that, it was close in both games. It just of late, it's been close when we play the Bucs. I don't expect that to change this time. Um, I think the left side of the Bucs O line can be had a little bit. With a backup tackle, that guard over there, I forget his name, but I'm like, this team this O line looks completely different than it did like 2 years ago. And honestly, Cody Mark had some shaky moments too. And I think we long story short, I'm saying I think we'll be able to get some pressure, but I'm a little concerned about our ability to cover on the back end. But we'll see how that plays out. But following suit, as I've said, ultra negativity for hoping of the Falcons win. So I got the Falcons losing their home opener against the Buccaneers in a heartbreaker 27 to 25. Falcons missed a 2-point conversion to tie the game.
Oof.
Yeah.
You know what's funny?
I know that's a strange score. I don't even know if that score's ever
No,
happened in the
unfortunately, as a
NFL.
Falcon fan, I've seen that. I've seen that, my boy. I felt that.
Hey man, look, I'm like, hey, this team don't respond well to positivity.
Hey,
Every time,
hey, this team has always done well when I think they're not gonna play well. So you
yeah.
know what? I get it, dude. I get it.
So yeah, and look, just so you know, and it's funny that to pick that negativity. It's funny how that goes because, what's the name of the podcast, Cam?
Silver lining.
Well, it's the silver lining, but we're gonna have to be bleak because that bleakness is how we maintain that positive energy. Well, yeah, look, I think that's pretty much all we need to go over. I'm just excited, man. We've been waiting a long time for this, and this is the one slice of the season where you get to still feel a bunch of hope. You still get to not feel like you're getting your Sundays taken from you, whether you just watching the game or whether you like us, we watching and then we got to record after. And God, it's just good to be excited about the day before I got to go back to work.
Of course. Of course. Now hopefully they don't ruin our Monday. Hopefully we got something good to talk about. Hopefully we can be at the water cooler come Monday. Like, hey, you see them Falcons?
Man,
You see
Cam,
them
what I told you
birds?
about having these hopeful thoughts?
Hey, you right. You right. You
Oh,
right.
okay. Hey, don't forget your place, sir. Don't forget your place. You're a Falcon fan. Negativity is what gets us positivity because we always get the opposite of what we want.
That's a stone cold fact, man.
All
That's a
right.
stone cold fact.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, look, been great. Been great. Um, y'all already know how it go, man. We got over got an X.com. I just post the pods up there too. So you can catch us here, you can catch us there. You can tweet us anywhere, whatever. But otherwise, you know the drill, man. Like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the little bell. We want to hear some real niggas uploading. Peace.
Peace.